Last week, we witnessed EMSA's first multi-class race of the 2023 season. We saw the brand new BMW Hybrid for the first time. Drivers had their ups and downs working out the kinks with a new car in a race environment for the first time, but ultimately, Isidro came out on top. Will he be able to bring home again? On the Mission R side, a brand new driver to the EMSA series claims an overall win with his first appearance. Will Aaron Smith be able to continue this trend, or will EMSA's more seasoned drivers come back to take the crown? We'll find out tonight as we welcome you to the EMSA Service Exports eWorld Tour. With Bryan, Sawyer in the production truck and Cody Erdmann next to me in the commentary box, I'm Chad Irvine, live from Circuit of the Americas on the Automotive Sports Network. Our coverage tonight and for the series are brought to you both by Service Experts HVAC. Get worry-free comfort at one low monthly payment. For more information, visit serviceexperts.com. Cody, it's round 2 of the season. These guys, as we mentioned, are just getting used to these cars, but definitely going to be fun to watch these BMWs and Porsches work their way around the Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, it's going to be looking forward to a good battle here around COTA. Should be interesting to watch especially the Mission R's go through the S's here, with the Mission R's being all-wheel drive. Just trying to watch them be patient enough to get through the S's nice and tidy, but keeping up the momentum. We thankfully have gotten another car added to the BMW, the LMDH class, so now we got 3 cars in that and 5 in the Mission R, so we should have a good battle between, as Aaron Todt and Cameron Henn were a 10th apart in the LMDH practice, so looking for a good battle there in the 2 features.
Yeah, 2 20-minute races here tonight, but first we have to get these cars set for the grid the first time out, and that's going on right now with qualifying as we watch some of the LMDHs work their way around. It's going to be fun to watch all these guys, because these cars, they're newer to iRacing, and some guys are still trying to learn just what all the buttons do. There's so many gadgets and gizmos in these hybrid vehicles that you really need to really set yourself up. You have to be constantly working with the car to put yourself in a solid position.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be going to have to be real, just drive the track, not as much as race your competitors, especially here in the first one, just learning on what's all going to happen, and we'll go from there from race 2. And then now that we know on the full field invert, as we had last week, that the LMDH squad is going to be in the back, at least should be in the back. So they're going to have to drive through the treacherous turn 1 here that we have at COTA at the top of the hill.
Yeah, up a hill, blind apex down to the left, and makes for an interesting first corner, especially as you mentioned, trying to work your way through the slower traffic in the inversion. This is Dylan Thomas. Oh, and we got a car off track here as well. Back to Dylan Thomas here. And this car, I mean, I love the color scheme. It's nice and simple. You get the logos out there, but you still have that cyan, that bright blue highlights to really, make the rest of the car pop.
Yeah, nice, easy distinguishing on who's our points leader, and then just the nice bright blue of the series banner. So, yeah, right now we have Isidro and Aaron Smith. They're top points leaders in their classes.
And by the way, the weather today, 66 the ambient temperature, track temp very high. It's kind of surprised me, 120-degree track temperature, and usually, when the sun, even though, the sun's beating down on the track, it's not incredibly hot out. 120 degrees, almost double the track to ambient temperature, is very interesting to see. Here's a good look at the S's. You have to be careful with all the curbs, and the biggest thing about qualifying here as well is just, it's so hard with all the track limits here that there's so much pavement. You want to use so much runoff, and if you use too much, their lap will get deleted. It won't count. So drivers now starting to get their first timed laps in. Still waiting for anybody to set a clean time. A couple guys working their way around at the moment, but it's going to be pretty interesting to watch. You should see about a 10 to 15 second difference in lap time from the BMWs to the Porsches. 154.4 was the fastest for Aaron Todt in practice for the BMW, and then Aaron Smith set a 204.7. A second faster than Broderick Johnson, the fastest of all the Porsche Mission Rs out there.
Yeah, the first time on the board is Aaron Smith. He just put a 205 flat, so that's the benchmark for the rest of the field, and see if anyone can get up to him. is the LMDHs also are going to have to figure out a good spot for qualifying on making sure they have a clean track their entire lap, or at least catch the slower traffic down the big long back straightaway, so they don't have to really about having an inconvenience lap throughout their good qualifying lap.
Yeah, looking at where they are with my track map here, it looks like Isidro is just out in front of Cameron Henn, but both of those drivers have plenty of free track around him. Henn might get a little bit of a slipstream off of Isidro, but we'll have to see how that plays out for him. Meanwhile, the 28 of Aaron Totten, he has plenty of racetrack. Both to the car behind, the next car behind him actually is one of those Porsches, so he's got plenty of space back behind. So no issues there for the 28 to get himself a clean lap as Isidro goes to the top with a 154.7.
Yeah, our point leader in the LMDHs goes up to the top of the board. Dylan Thomas just crossed the line. I think he might be on his hot lap now. So we'll see. Next one up might be Martin Mathis is coming across. See if he puts a time on.
He does, but it's not a good lap. A 209.24 seconds slower than that of Aaron Smith. But that's about what Mathis was putting in there as he was putting up in practice. These drivers had the 1 hour practice and now getting set. This is their qualifying. They have 15 minutes to do so, about 10 minutes remaining here, just under that actually, and it's going to be fun to watch. It's a smaller field size, and that's going to make for some interesting racing, especially at a track like this. It's not it's like some tracks, like you might see at Daytona or Monza or something like that, where you can draft lock the entire time. Here, it's a lot of very technical corners. Yes, you can probably keep it close through the S's, but with so many hairpins and so many technical corners, the elevation changes, everything like that really starts to add up, and that's where you see the better drivers kind of put themselves in a good position.
Absolutely, especially that SS section. You got to make sure you hit it perfectly, even at the first corner to the last corner of it. It's so easy to make a mistake, and once you get out of your sequence, going through, making sure you're in the right gear, the right corner, and everything, it's so easy just to mess up the entire section. That could kill a second or two of your lap.
Aaron Smith was just doing some donuts, having some fun, and getting the four-wheel slide going. And these guys really just kind of trying to make the most of it, make the most of their practice, because you only get 1 or 2 solid laps on tires before they start falling off here, especially with such a high track temperature.
Yeah, as we're watching our point leader, Nicholas Isidro, he is P2 right now. Aaron Totten just got him beat by a couple tenths. Coming down the very long back straightaway, catching up to one of the Porsche Missionars.
Looking now over at Cameron Henn, getting set for getting some temperature in those tires. He's kind of building himself a little bit of a buffer as well. The next car in front of him is in class. That's Nick Isidro, the next car up. But he's got himself a little bit of breathing room here. He's going to have to work his way by the 27 at some point of Adrian Johansson on his next lap. But he's only got a couple more corners before I think this is going to be his first timed official lap for Cameron Henn as he works his way now towards the penultimate corner.
Yeah, as he's just trying to put in a good lap. He did have a good little slide coming down to that hard left-hand corner after the back straightaway. We'll see if he comes across the line here.
A little bit wide there on corner exit as well. And yeah, he immediately pulls it off to the side. So that lap will not count. He'll have to try to sneak out one more. And he's got time to do it, but he has to go pretty quick. He's got just about 5 minutes or 6 minutes remaining in the session. And his outlap's going to take at least 2 of those. So he's probably got one shot here at getting a time down. So have to wait and see. There he spins it on his own, and so he's going to have to try to get himself in a position to get a good time in. This is a look at Aaron Smith again. Currently sits provisional pole there in the Porsche Missionars. These cars, both of them, the BMW and the Porsche, these hybrid vehicles, they just sound incredible out there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a real fun car to drive the last month, as they've been the new hot ticket for, especially for the Daytona 24. A ton of teams were running them, and they still are. I think in the IMSA series, there's a good couple splits of them. So, real popular car. Hopefully, it'll attract some more drivers over to the series, knowing that this car is here. So far, we only got 3 of the 5 Porsche Mission Rs up on the board. Johnson and Thomas have yet to post a time. Cameron as well. In the LMDH. Aaron Smith posting some good practice laps here. Nicholas Isidro goes to the top of the board with a 54 flat.
Yeah, and he's using his skills that he learned last week to do so once again. Back onto the top of the timing charts by just over 0.2 of a second. So he's going to be in a good position here as Totten still sitting in the pits at the moment. I think that he's going to call it for his qualifications and just hope that what he's got works in his favor. Cameron Henn just crossed the line, so he is out there once again for... he is out there to try to get his lap in. He's not set a time yet. He needs this lap to be clean. 154.2 currently held by second place Aaron Totten, and that's the mark for him to beat 154 flat for Isidro, the other 2 cars in that class.
As we're on board here with Cameron Henn, see if he can, just going through the last part of the S's here, right, left. Ooh, clips a little bit. Oh, the yellow turtle there on the inside, and unfortunately into the Armco, so I think that's going to be it for him.
Yeah, with only 3 minutes left in the session, he won't have time to set another lap. So that's going to be it for Cameron Henn. Unfortunately, he'll have to start from the back of the field to see if it's going to end up griding him by class or not. Other couple drivers that are still out there trying to set a time. Broderick Johnson has not set a time yet, and I don't see him on track either. Meanwhile, Dylan Thomas, the other driver out there that has not set a time, he is currently working his way to complete a lap. He might have another opportunity around. He should have enough time to do so there for the 00 as he continues to work his way out. The 14 of Martin Mathis works his way down the pit lane. Currently sits P2 in the... in his class at a 209.2. That lap did not count for Dylan Thomas, so he's got one more shot at it. He's got the whole track to himself as well. Just under 2 minutes to go. His best lap in practice was a 208.8. That would put him currently 3rd in class, so waiting to see how things work for Dylan Thomas. He's got to keep his wits about him here. He's got to get himself a decent time, and he's continuing to work his way now through the S's and getting set for the long run down the back straightaway. And this straightaway, it just feels like it goes on forever no matter what car you're in.
Yeah, it's probably one of the longest straightaways we'll have here in the entire calendar. I think that probably one of the only longer ones would be when we go to Le Mans. That just has 2 chicanes in it, so this absolute long straightaway here is we're going down right now. It does bend a little bit to the right, but it's a fairly straight corner now. Heavy braking into this left-hand corner.
Martin Mathis doing the smart thing. He is back out on track, and he's not going to get a lap in, but just getting as much track time as he can as we continue here to watch the 00 of Dylan Thomas. And it's going to be interesting. Hopefully he can get this lap, keep it clean, keep all 4 wheels within the white lines, because that's where guys get into trouble here. You can easily rack up those penalty points and cause yourself to get into some trouble with the stewards.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a pretty easy... Ooh, runs a little bit wide here in the... I believe that's what the quad apex corner. Or triple apex. Up there here through the left-hand corner. Dylan just playing it really easy, making sure he gets a solid lap down here. So at least a time up on the board.
Yeah, no incident limit for these drivers. There will be no penalties to speak of from just picking up the incident points. And I think at a track like this, that's a really good move. Dylan Thomas, by the way, that was a flyer of a lap 209.0. That puts him second in the class behind Aaron Smith.
Just as the time ran out. So now we're about to grid up here for the feature.
Yep, waiting for drivers to take to the grid. We got Nick Isidro on the pole with Aaron Totten on the outside of row number 1. Then you got Aaron Smith and Dylan Thomas, while Martin Mathis and Adrian Johansson. Cameron Henn and Broderick Johnson both did not set times. They will start from the back of the field.
So we'll have to keep an eye out for Cameron Henn. He'll be in the back with that LMDH.
Yeah, and watching him on this start is going to be interesting because this is going to give everybody else kind of a feel for what might happen there with the inversion come the second race of the night. So definitely waiting for one more driver to take to the grid, and we will be underway in just a matter of moments. Can't wait to see what happens with these guys because, I mean, it's shaping up to be some fantastic racing.
Absolutely. We'll have to keep an eye out, as we learned last week, that the LMDHs don't get off the line as well as the Porsche Mission R, so we'll have to keep watch out for that.
Green flag is out. We are underway. There you see how much better of a jump that those Porsches get off the line. But then once they get up to speed, they're 3 wide into turn number 1, and Cameron Henn locks him up. Back end comes around. He's able to keep it off the wall, though. He's going to lose a ton of time, but fortunately enough, points in the right direction. Cold tires really getting him there.
Absolutely amazing save by him. Unfortunately, now he's going to be stuck behind all the Porsche Mission Rs through the S's. No real good way of getting around them, so he's going to have to just lose more and more time.
Some interesting battles there. Some contact for Broderick Johnson. He's going to go around. I think that was Martin Mathis that tapped him there and sent him around. So he is going to be into some trouble there. Martin Mathis is the one you're seeing here with Cameron Henn peeking to the inside, and it's faster class. You have to give him room, and Henn gets by cleanly there. Next car in line for him is Adrian Johansson.
Guys, he'll probably try to get around these guys down the straightaway. Oop, had a check up there. Johansson a little bit slower through the hairpin than I think Henn was expecting. So
yeah, lock up from the left rear of Henn, and they almost spun it again. That's what bit him in turn 1. He's working his way now down this long back straightaway. Dylan Thomas, next car in line, as he's kind of coming and going. The connection issue there for Thomas, but fortunately enough, Henn able to get woed up, and time goes very wide, however, and he's going to rejoin the track safely.
As we got a battle for the lead going on with LMDH too. So these two guys knows the tail right now.
Still Isidro leading Totten. Just how they started, they continue to run. And these early stages of the race, I think that if you're Totten, you just kind of have to read the lines and see what Isidro is doing. Try to find a way you can either force him into a mistake or just wait for the opportunity to present itself to you, because you still have another 18 minutes left as we complete the first lap here around Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, this is the time for Todd now just to kind of learn where he's stronger than Isidro, as Isidro runs a little bit wide through the hairpin in turn 1. Just kind of go to school and see where he can try to find a pickup time where Isidro's faster, and then where Totten's quicker, that he can possibly capitalize on a mistake in that section to make the pass for the lead.
Yeah, cresting that hill in turn 1, I've noticed, has kind of caught a couple drivers out. Aaron Totten just lost a little bit of time there, as when he picked up the throttle cresting the hill, the back end wanted to step out. We saw the same thing happen to Henn on lap 1. I think that might have been just more cold tires for Henn, but for Totten, tires should be mostly up to temperature at this point, and unfortunately for Henn, just a little bit of wiggle there cost him a couple tenths as he hits the curbs there and continues on his merry way. This is a little further back, however, as we are now watching Dylan Thomas and Adrian Johansson work their way now through the S's, and they're going to get ready a couple more corners here before they're onto that same back straightaway.
Yeah, Adrian's trying to draft up to the back, especially down the straightaway. See if we can drive up to the back of Dylan Thomas.
Yeah, Johansson, though, absolutely butchered the entry to that corner, turned in way too early, lost himself a bunch of time. But fortunately enough for him, it looks like Dylan Thomas didn't get away cleanly either, as he's only lost a couple of car lengths down this straightaway.
Yeah, now he's got a little bit of a better run. Just about a mile an hour or two just because of the draft. Heavy on the brakes here to the left-hander.
Better entry there from Johansson. He's made up a couple of car lengths, and he continues just to find a way to get by here as Johansson all over the back of Dylan Thomas as we're working their way now through a couple more corners here. They got a long sweeping right-hander after this one, and that's where things get injured. A little bit wide there for Dylan Thomas. And he's continued just try to. This is a hard corner. You want to maybe arc it out a little bit more there through between the first and second apex because you can carry a lot more speed. These drivers are still getting their feet wet and trying to get the cars under them, and they turn in here. Now one more corner to complete the second lap here for these drivers. This is Thomas and Johansson once again as they continue to battle here. And who's going to get the better launch? It looks like it's Thomas. Johansson had to lift a lot to not get a slowdown or an off track there. As he's lost a couple of car lengths. He's still, though, within about half a second from Dylan Thomas. Meanwhile, the leader in class, Aaron Smith, has pulled away 5 seconds now clear of these two.
Yeah, he's just checked out from the rest of the field. 2:11.3 that last lap. Heads up on this little battle of these two duo. It's going to turn into a trio battle. As Broderick Johnson also he ran the fastest lap of the mission, runs with 11 flat. So he's catching up to these guys.
Yep, Cedro now 1.7 seconds clear out front. So we'll keep an eye on that battle, see if Totten can reel him in just a little bit. But for the time being, we'll keep a look here at this battle. This is the one that we've been featuring for the last couple of laps here, and it's going to be interesting with Johnson working his way into the fray here as well.
Yeah, he's just it's about an equal distance between second, third, and fourth. Let's see who gets the good run down the back straightaway.
That hairpin at the far end of the track really seems to be throwing some curveballs at Johansson. Last time he turned in too early. This time he did not turn in time, but he was also had to get it woed up a lot. As looks like we actually just had a change for the lead. Nick Cedro had an issue. He's now lost a ton of time as he's now 2.5 seconds behind Aaron Totten. I wonder if we can't get a look at that because that was interesting. Really seemed to be, I don't know. Oh, Cedro spun it in the final corner.
Yeah, as we get the replay here, as Cedro just going into the final corner, just brakes, locks up, and spins, unfortunately. So then Totten able to get around.
Fortunately for him, though, no contact, keeps in the right direction, didn't lose too much time. He's already starting to reel in Aaron Totten just a little bit. It's about 2 seconds the gap between them. And last time around, a 155.1 for Totten, 158.1 for Cedro. That's where that's because of that spin. But it's very hard for these guys to get a clean lap. Only one driver has set an official time with the 2:11.3 for Aaron Smith. Everybody else has had at least one incident point on every lap so far.
And also, we got Johansson and Johnson was able to get around Dylan Thomas here. We got this brought up. A little self spin by Dylan Thomas as he's going. It's kind of the same thing. Unfortunately, Johansson also kind of slid into him. Good thing that wasn't into a 3-car wreck.
There was, some slight contact, but fortunately enough, it looks like everybody's able to carry on without issue.
Oh, as Johansson now slides off. Wonder if they kind of overcooked the tires doing the battle. As these two were battling so hard that I think Johansson might have cooked the tires.
Yeah, track temperature up already a couple degrees from what we saw in qualifying. It's going to continue to climb as it's only 1:30 virtual standard time here in the heart of Texas. The heat really coming into play here. Date in this in the sim set to May 15th. So it's going to be a hot summer day here in Texas. The sun's going to keep beating down on this track, and that track temperature is going to continue to climb as Johansson now tries to make up for his mistake. He's down into fourth in class, and he's got some work to do. 4 seconds now behind Dylan Thomas. Closest battle on track is either going to be between Johansson and Mathis, or as well as Isidro and Totten.
As Isidro spun, he caught too much of the curb, the yellow curb on the inside through the S's, self spun, and he was gaining on Totten. He was a second faster that last lap. Fortunately, once you make your first mistakes, you try a little bit harder to rally back, and unfortunately, that caused him to make another one.
Interval now 9 seconds or so for Totten over Isidro, and he's gonna have to kind of keep his wits about him here. It kind of reminds me of Colton Herta on the IndyCar side, where he makes that mistake or he sees the opportunity and just pushes too hard and ends up putting himself in a bad spot. So it definitely happens to all drivers. You want to make a move, you want to get aggressive, and unfortunately, just the tiniest of mistakes can compound your issues and make it that much worse.
Absolutely. As he just barely clips a yellow turtle, as we got a replay here for it. As just going along, just unfortunately just clips it, and then just spins him around.
Yeah, and those things are dangerous. They lift cars up, and as you saw, they're spinning you around. I've seen cars, have that, contact happen with the curb, and then another car barely hits you, and you can go over. So those are some very dangerous curbs, and I know that some Formula One drivers have kind of voiced their concerns over them over the years. So we'll have to wait and see how things play out with those being there in the real world, as they can be quite the safety concern at times. But 9 seconds still the gap for Totten over Isidro as they complete their next lap. Currently working their way around lap 6 of the race, as they are now cross halfway in the event, and of this first portion of the event at least, just across the 10-minute mark. So these guys, about 7 minutes left here for the LMDH, is going to hopefully see them maybe close themselves up and get into some more battles, or have some more fun the second time around.
Yeah, I'd imagine they would, especially now all three of them should be at the tail end of the field, so they're going to have to drive through the entire field. Also, the quicker Porsche Missionars will be at the back, so should be an entertaining first couple laps, watching them work their way through traffic.
Totten getting ready to catch some lap traffic with Martin Mathis as the end of the back straightaway, and there you see what the gap is. It's going to come down quite a bit, but this is not the easiest part of the track to get a move done. A couple of really slow corners there. He just kind of forces his way to the inside, and he is off with some clean racetrack ahead of him. He's got a little bit of ways up the road to Adrian Johansson, who's about 12 seconds up the road from Mathis. It won't take quite that much effort, though, for Totten to catch up.
Yeah, no, Isidro and Totten are running the same lap times, so unfortunately nothing will happen there.
Yeah, fairly spread out there between the top three and the BMW LMDHs, with Totten, Isidro, and Hen 10 and then 28 seconds, the intervals between them. Not much going on except for the battle that might be shaping up here between Dylan Thomas and Adrian Johansson. That's going to be the battle for third position there in the Porsche Mission Rs, as they are currently 2.5 seconds, the closest two cars to each other on track in the same class.
Yeah, as Johansson is catching up to Dylan Thomas after that mistake that Johansson made, so see if they're able to. With now we have our leader, Aaron Totten, just getting around Johansson through the S's.
Yeah, last lap for Thomas, 2:15.9 compared to a 2:14.2 of Johansson, so he made up plenty of time last time around. He's looking to do the same here once again, as he's got the interval down to under 2 seconds now for the first time in quite a little bit.
Yeah, he did show that he was a little bit quicker until Dylan made that mistake, and then Johansson unfortunately made the same mistake that what I thought was just a little bit of too much weight transfer. He did actually catch the yellow curb that we saw Isidro make, so now he's trying to safely make this rally back. He's got about 6 minutes left to do so. See if he's able to catch back up to the back bumper of Dylan Thomas, our series owner, as Thomas runs super wide. Now they're also going to have to watch out for second place Isidro, who is trying to catch Aaron Totten here. His last lap, Totten and Isidro ran 155s.
Johnson, by the way, did not set a time in qualifying, started at the back of the field, and he's already worked his way up to second in class. A little bit of a lockup there from Isidro once again, and he's struggling to work his way by, but he finally does. As we're crossing now to 6 minutes remaining. But look at this battle shaping up here between Thomas and Johansson as they work their way up the hill.
Oh, Johansson looks up to the inside. Nothing there. If they got to run here.
He had a lot more speed there, Johansson did, over Dylan Thomas, but unfortunately not able to do much with it. He keeps having to check up just enough. Johansson does. He might need to find his own way to get by. He might need to kind of try to force the issue a little bit as this race. And we've still got a couple minutes left, a couple times around for these guys, but I mean, if you're just sitting in his tire tracks, you're not going to be able to make up much ground.
Yeah, unfortunately, we'll see if... Ooh, Johansson a little bit squirrely out of that corner. Now runs super wide. Killed all of his momentum there.
And this is the corner we've seen him have some issues earlier on in the event. And there you see it again, turning in too early, clipping that yellow curb. Unfortunately, going to lose time getting the launch off the corner down this long back straightaway.
Yeah, there's another gap slowly growing, although now it's starting to come down as he's just at the edge of the draft. So he's going to be able to carry a little bit more speed into this heavy braking zone.
Yep, 0.8 of a second, the gap. And still continuing to close down Johansson right there. But he's got to make his move probably before they exit the S's. It's not exactly the best passing opportunity for him, but he's shown he can carry more speed there. He's a lot more comfortable doing it. He peeks to the inside there. And ooh, he's alongside now. Next corner, though, does favor Thomas. They're still side by side. Thomas continues to fight back. Still there. Still side by side. Thomas back in front.
As now he was able to fight back and clear him. So now let's see. Johansson.
Just a little tap of the brakes there from Johansson. Unfortunately killed all of his run through the corner, but he's going to get a great launch off here. He is right on that back bumper of Dylan Thomas.
This is one of those racetracks where you almost have to set up your pass a corner or two ahead of time. Like going into that section there, you should have, that second to last corner, you should have set up a good run so he could have threw it up the inside. Fortunately, just had to check up a little bit as Dylan was a little bit slower through the center of the corner. So now we're going to go up here to the S's, which is super treacherous to pass, especially got to make sure neither one of you two hit the treacherous yellow turtles.
And a little checkup there from Johansson as he had to make sure he didn't get back into the back of Dylan Thomas. He continues, though, to try to find the opportunity. A huge hit of that turtle there from Dylan Thomas, but able to keep the car collected. Johansson almost got around himself. He continues now to work his way through down to this very tight left-hander that leads to the very important long back straightaway. And an absolute send here from Johansson. Oh, man, that was tight.
That was a full dive bomb if I've ever seen one. Because now we have an LMDH come up on these. I believe this should be Cameron Head.
Yes, it is, as he's going to clear both of them before the end of the straightaway. Hen's got to get back to the right, though, set himself up for a good corner entry. And that's what cost Johansson. He's trying too hard to get it on corner entry there. As a little mistake from Thomas lets Johansson get just a little bit closer. He's back to the inside, almost in contact. And he might have the move done and dusted here. No, he cannot. He has to hit the brakes a little bit extra of it. Man, these guys are just fighting back and forth.
Yeah, it's just one will make a mistake and the other one will try to capitalize, and then when the one's trying to capitalize, they unfortunately make a mistake or just can't make the pass stick.
Lead now 18 seconds for the overall leader, Aaron Totten, over Nick Isidro. And they're going to be getting the white flag next time by for the overall leaders, and everybody else will follow. Johansson still trying to find, he's got a couple more opportunities as he is right there down this front straightaway. Will he try something going up the hill into turn one? We'll have to wait a couple moments to find out.
Let's see if he tries to throw another dive bomb into one. No, he does not. Ooh, looks like he may try the late crossover.
Yeah, he let it roll just a little more there on corner entry. This is the part where Johansson's had some good runs, but hasn't been able to do anything with it. He needs to realize this, and he's going to have to set himself up a little bit wider than Thomas to try to get a better run, because he's just in his tire tracks, and it looks like he's having to tap his brakes to keep from getting into the back of him when he could be going flat out. So Johansson trying to do something, exiting the S's, a little check up there. He's alongside. Of course, going to switch back here to the left next to the heavy left-hander once again. We've seen him try several times to get a move done. He might have him cleared now. A little bit of a lift. No. Still side by side going into this hairpin very early on the brakes from Thomas, and that's going to open the door for Johansson. Can he get the move done? No. It's going to go right back into the hands of Dylan Thomas. So Johansson, we've seen him make that move, try to get it done a couple of times, but can't do it quite yet.
There's Thomas saw the move the last lap and kind of figured that Johansson was probably going to throw it super deep, so he checked up early, got a good run off the corner. As Johansson just overshot that hairpin.
Looks like the white flag is out for the leader of Aaron Totten in the 28, and everybody else going to get the white this time around, as he's got about half a lap there for the 28 to secure the victory here in this first half of the event. Of course, we will have the invert between sessions as well.
There's no one around. Totten just out for a Sunday drive here. Absolute amazing job. Just kind of running his own race, not having to worry about the field. And that's kind of like what I said in the beginning. This track is so much about just racing the track itself. It's super easy, as we've seen multiple people make mistakes. Super easy, just to unfortunately just miss your corner just by a little bit. Either self-spin or just clip a curb and spin you around. Thankfully, nobody's really had any major damages by any of the mistakes. Because sometimes it's super easy to make that unfortunately happen.
Oh, huge hit of the curb there from Johansson. He's trying everything he can. As through the final corner, here comes Aaron Totten. And he's across the line to win the first heat of tonight's event. He's got one more shot. He's going to have to come from the back with the invert to do it the second time around. Can he do it? Or will Isidro put up a better challenge after his couple of self-mistakes really cost him there? Now over to Aaron Smith, who's going to be coming through these final couple of corners for himself. There he is in the 70. And he's got no one in his rearview mirror. Broderick Johnson 15 seconds behind. As we also keep an eye on this battle for third position between Thomas and Johansson. A little too far back last time for Johansson to try his move again. Very wide there from Thomas. Very respectful racing from these two. No contact yet. Almost there. That was very close between them. Now he's going to switch back to the left once again. Very late on the brakes was Johansson. Had to check up quite a bit. Who's going to get the better launch off the corner here? This is still a very technical part of the circuit. Johansson's closed up several times through this sector. Just doesn't open up the corner enough. Can't get the launch off, and Dylan Thomas is probably going to come out the better side of this one. He's got one more lunging opportunity for Johansson. A little slide there won't do him any favors. And with that, that's going to lead to a checkered flag falling. No, that's very wide from Dylan Thomas. Who's going to get the run off the corner? Have to wait and see. And it goes to Adrian Johansson. I was just about to say it was Thomas, and wow, he just ran way too wide there through the final corner. What a battle between those two.
Yeah, as they just drag raced it to the line. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if Dylan just ran a little bit too wide or like overcooked it, anticipating for the dive bomb, or what happened, but just a door-to-door finish.
We'll take a look here at the final results, starting with the LMDHs, with Aaron Totten getting the win, and then Nick Isidro, followed by Cameron Henn. And then in the Porsches, it's Aaron Smith, Broderick Johnson, Adrian Johansson at the line by not much at all. That gap was very close between the two of them. And then Dylan Thomas in fourth, with Martin Mathis wrapping up the field there in the Porsche Missionars. So drivers going to get a couple minutes here to warm up and try to get themselves acclimated, as these guys really are going to do their best to try to improve from last time. I think Isidro is going to have a little bit more, about himself and know a little bit more. But it was a good time for us to mention our sponsors for the night, coverage for the series, and for the broadcast night, brought to you by Service Experts HVAC. Get worry-free comfort at one low monthly payment. For more information, visit serviceexperts.com. Also have another sponsor here, NordVPN. NordVPN is the ultimate solution for online privacy and security. With NordVPN, you can surf the web freely and securely, knowing that your personal information and online activity are protected by military-grade encryption. With servers in over 60 countries, NordVPN allows you to access any content you want from anywhere in the world. Plus, with its strict no-logs policy, you can be sure that your online activity will remain private. NordVPN is easy to use, with a simple interface that makes it easy to connect to the VPN and switch between servers. With NordVPN, you can browse, stream, and download with complete peace of mind. For up to 63% off a 2-year plan, visit asnTVUSA.com and click on NordVPN. So, Cody, as these drivers get themselves set here for round 2 of the night from EMSA, that Circuit of the Americas, these guys, what are they kind of getting themselves into here? What are they kind of doing as they have a couple minutes here out on track?
Yeah, it's a good time just kind of see what just kind of the tape from the last race, where they made the mistakes, what they could have done better. They do have a little bit of time if they want to work on a quick, maybe like the early part of the section of the track, they can kind of work on, just especially on cold tires too. Car may drive great on the nice warm tires, but on the cold tires, so the S's, they can find a way to pick up a good half a second or even a tenth or two, be a key to possibly winning the race.
Irvine, Bryan, Irvine and Cody Erdmann in the booth with Bryan Sawyer pushing all the buttons, putting this wonderful broadcast together for us, and have to give thanks to as well Josh Mertz, who's taking the night off tonight. He's out on vacation, so shout out to you, Josh, if you're watching. Hi, Josh. Just under 2 minutes left here in this warm-up session, and I have to say, if that battle there between Johansson and Thomas was anything to get us excited, hopefully we'll see some more of that for the next 20 minutes as well.
I'd imagine the beginning of this is going to be wild, because we'll have all 3 LMDHs at the back having to drive through the field in the first couple laps, and then Aaron Smith, he's going to be behind the entire Porsche Mission R field, so he's going to have to drive through them, take his time. Hopefully he doesn't get caught up in anything. And then,
we saw one car spin there with cold tires at the start of the first race. That was Cameron Henn working his way up the hill, locked up the rears, and those cold tires and trying to work your way through traffic. It's a lot to think about, especially if you're one of those LMDHs where you have to really focus on everything that's going on. There's so much to take in around you that really you got your work cut out for you, especially if you're one of those faster guys like Isidro and Totten, who really starting to pull away from Henn until Isidro unfortunately had his couple mistakes that compounded on him.
Yeah, and we had a you have to watch on the beginning, the first lap or two with the LMDH, and how the cold tires, it's super slippery, and trying to navigate through the traffic.
Only one driver that you see out on track, that's Martin Mathis, as the checkered flag gets set to come out here. For this 5-minute warm-up session, these drivers going to invert the field. So we'll have Martin Mathis starting on the pole. We'll get you your whole field rundown here in just a matter of moments, and there it is with Martin Mathis out on the pole position. With Dylan Thomas alongside, then Adrian Johansson and Broderick Johnson, row 2, Aaron Smith, Cameron Henn, row 3, then you got Nick Isidro and Aaron Totten wrapping up the field here. 8-car field once again. Just waiting on a couple more to take to the grid, where we have some more wonderful racing in store here from Circuit of the Americas and all these beautiful E-machines working their way around. Such a fun, difficult, challenging track to drive.
Absolutely. We're just waiting on a couple more cars here to join the grid.
Just Broderick Johnson left to take to the grid. He's going to be running out of time to do so. He does. There he is. Waiting for the lights to come out. Here the battery's starting to charge up. And we're underway. Green flag is out. Have to see who's going to work their way through traffic the quickest here between these LMDHs trying to get by these Porsche Missionars, and you see a lot of shuffling up at the front. Aaron Totten very wide in the back. And so a couple of drivers almost completely missing the corner there. But continuing on, and side by side there between Totten.
It was Dylan Thomas, unfortunately. I think got a little bit of contact from one of the LMDHs. Gets turned into the Armco.
Totten absolutely flying through these LMDHs or through these Porsches, and he continues on. But Isidro is able to get through a lot quicker, a lot cleaner. He's already got a second and a half or so on Aaron Totten. We'll have to wait and see how things play out for him. I mentioned Dylan Thomas really struggling. He might have to take a tow. I know he doesn't want to. It's such a long tow time here at COTA. But he's really struggling out there right now. A couple battles, though, still going on throughout this field. Broderick Johnson's got about a second and a half. And Aaron Smith currently holds its second spot. He's kind of split the middle here between Johansson and Johnson.
Yeah, as Broderick was able to kind of get through the turn 1 chaos as cleanly as possible. So let's see if he's able to just run away from the field. Smith is kind of slowly catching up to him. And now, if it would finish right now, even though we're only one lap in, Johnson technically would be the overall winner, as the tiebreaker would go to whatever the best finishes in this race.
Yep, and Isidro still holds on to his about 2-second lead now over Totten. As they work their way now crossing the line for the first time here in race number 2 of the night's events. 17 and a half minutes remaining, as it's Isidro, Totten, then Henn, the 3 LMDHs tonight, and then you've got Johnson, Smith, Johansson, Mathis, and then Dylan Thomas. The last car still limping his way around the track, as he is not even through the duckbill yet. He is just slowly limping around here. He's going about 70 miles an hour in areas he should really be flat out.
Yeah, unfortunately, he does have the meatball flag, so he's got serious suspension damage.
Drivers do get a fast repair here, so he's got a couple to work with, and once he gets back out there, maybe he's just going to be trying to log some laps for some pride and maybe make up a position or something if somebody else makes a mistake on their own.
As Aaron Smith is catching up to the back bumper of Johnson. It's only separated by a couple car lengths. Heavy braking into the hairpin.
Using a lot more of the racetrack there was Smith. He set himself up very nicely.
Now we got a drag race down the back straightaway here.
Side by side, the inside line is going to favor Aaron Smith in this one. Who can outbrake each other here? They're still side by side at turn in, but Smith going to get the position.
Oh, let's see if Johnson's got anything to go. He looks back up the inside. See if he's doing a good fight back here. Door to door through. Now through the left. Smith will have the better line. Ooh, Johnson.
Right there, a little tap of the brakes from Smith, and man, that really checked things up.
Ooh, now Johnson looking up the inside here. Good battle for the lead. So it seems like Johnson's a little bit quicker on the second half of the course, and I think Smith must be faster on the first half.
Very defensive line there to the inside from Johnson. A little blink out with his connection from Aaron Smith. They turn into the corner. I think Smith's going to have the better launch off. He gets the curb just a little bit, but into the S's they go. And Smith right on that rear wing of Broderick Johnson.
Now we're going to go into the S's here. Right, left, back to the right. A little bit longer, though, on the right hand here. Use up as much of the curb as you can. Back to the left. And the final right-hand corner. Swing back to left really hard over the crest here. Down through the hairpin.
About a second or so of the gap between Cedro and Totten. It's still pretty close between the two of them. They're going to have some lap traffic of Dylan Thomas they'll deal with here momentarily as well. Get side by side, keeping an eye on this battle between Smith and Johnson. This is both class leads, both very tight battles, and it's going to be fun to watch these guys battle it out. Still 15 minutes, under 15 minutes remaining here in the second and final event of the season, or of the evening, second race of the season here for these drivers, and really getting themselves set up for a fun looking schedule they've got going on here. Because from here next week they go to Interlagos, then Barcelona and Imola for the month of February. So a little international flavor the next couple weeks here, going to Brazil, Spain, and Imola, Spain, right? I don't remember anymore.
Nope. Imola is.
I'm thinking of Monza. Yep.
Yes.
I'm thinking. Yeah. Well, Monza's.
No, you're thinking of Barcelona. Barcelona, Spain.
I don't know if Barcelona was Spain. I couldn't remember both of them. I'm bad at geometry. I'm sorry.
As these two put on an absolute battle.
I'm still side by side with our coverage here with Cedro and Totten. That gap has grown just a little bit. A little mistake from Totten. It's up to about 1.3 seconds between those two. But Aaron Smith and Broderick Johnson still very close. Smith can make his move here. These slower corners are really where Broderick Johnson has lost a lot of his touch, it seems like, because through the flowing sections, the S's and some of that, he's fantastic. He can pull away, he can keep up with anybody, but once you get to the heavy braking zones, you miss your mark by 5 feet, and that'll put you 50 feet past the corner.
Yeah, it seems like Broderick is running just a little bit more conservative on the heavy braking zones, making sure he hits those apexes just right. Because now we're going to, speaking of the heavy braking zones, we're going to be coming up on one on the hairpin here. Broderick ran a little bit wide onto the fake grass. Let's see if Smith does move here.
That's a lot better corner entry from Johnson. And he continues his charge at the front of the field. 0.2 or so the gap between them. And they've built up quite the margin, 7.5 seconds back to Adrian Johansson in third. So these guys, even though they're battling hard, they're still finding ways to make time and put in some good laps. 2:10 and 2:11 respectively for these two. 2:13 last time around for Johansson.
There's Johnson through the block to make sure Aaron didn't try to throw it up the inside. Although he did kind of compromise his exit though. So I don't know if that was the exact move he should have done, but so far it's working out for him.
Now, you mentioned, Cody, the four-wheel drive that some of these cars have, and the electric being a completely different sound and different feel for the drivers. But I mean, what would be some tracks that you'd like to see on the schedule? Because they have a very diverse schedule put together here. As now we go, as I mentioned, Interlagos and Barcelona. But I think that there's some tracks that you might have some more fun with. You mentioned these cars running at Daytona. I'd like to see maybe Road America or Indianapolis on the schedule, as well as, I mean, even Road Atlanta would be a fun one for these cars.
Yeah, it seems like these cars really like and show their best capabilities on the more tight technical tracks. Honestly, this is almost a good showcase for them where they can go left, right, and like you can throw the car back and forth through the S's. I think Sonoma would be a really fun place as well. Kind of a smaller, shorter version of this, essentially.
Both leads now within a second of each other. Totten doing his best to just keep himself there. He lost 0.3 last time around, but still holds the fastest lap of the race at 1:54.3. That's the 28 car currently in second position, trying to get by Isidro. Here comes Smith, trying to power a move around the outside. Can he cross him over on corner exit? No, he's not clear yet. He does not get the corner exit that he wanted. So now they work their way down this long back straightaway. And there you see the weaving of Broderick Johnson. Now to the inside. He's going to defend for the next corner. And he's given up way too much real estate. He's going to have to swing back to the right at some point here. But very defensive. And who's going to be better on corner exit? It's super tight between them. Crossover move from Smith. Still alongside, but the inside with Broderick Johnson.
Yeah, as Broderick was able to cover the insides of both corners. Good defensive driving by Johnson.
And we're already across halfway. These guys putting on such an entertaining show. It really feels like it's flying by out here. As track temperature is still holding steady at about 122 that I would have expected it to continue to climb, but instead it's now actually falling. It's down to 120. So it dropped pretty quickly there. Maybe just a little bit of cloud cover working its way around here.
Yeah, as you can see, the cars do seem like they have a little bit more grip. They're not slipping and sliding around as much as they were in the first race. As our top two Porsche Missionars are coming across the line, nose to tail, going up into turn one. See if Smith throws it up inside. Nope. Does this typically. He has been running a little bit wider going into the corner, trying to get a better launch out of it to get a good run into the S's. As these two drivers make their way through the S's here. It's all by them. Well, the two all by themselves is Johansson 12 seconds back down the road.
Dylan Thomas, after his incident on lap 1, he crashed, limped it back to the pits, took his fast repair, and is back out there. He's kept himself clean, kept his nose clean, and is just logging some laps here. He's still kind of just hoping somebody else makes a mistake, but for the time being, he's just doing a respectable job, keeping the car clean. His last lap was right on pace with everybody around him, so a good job for the 00, keeping himself out there and showing dedication to the series. As he continues to work his way around. Smith, though, peeking to the inside, crossing both these guys, weaving back and forth down the straightaway. Later on the brakes was Johnson. Does he get it slowed down enough? Yes, he is. Smith, though, better corner exit. He is right there on the rear wing once again. Slide there from Johnson. This might open the door. But that all-wheel drive kicks in, and they're still side-by-side double left-hander. Crossover move from Smith. Can he get the move done? Not yet.
Johnson closes the door on Smith. As now we have a battle for lead and the LMDH. Isidro has gotten the Totten up to the back wing of him. They're right behind Martin Mathis trying to get around him. Oh, as Totten half spins, catches it. I think got a little bit too much on the power there, unfortunately.
The other thing there is they were trying to work their way on Martin Mathis, a lapped car in that slower class, so just the unfortunate time to catch them, and now Isidro's got 5 or so seconds clear of Totten for the time being, so focus back to this Johnson and Smith battle as they continue to work their way now, cresting turn number 1, down the hill into turn 2 and through the S's. There's now 6.5 minutes remaining here from race number 2 at Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, these two have just been fighting this entire I'd say about 18 minutes once Aaron was able to reel in Johnson. It's just been an absolute battle between these two. And this is essentially for the overall win. Because, like I said, if Johnson ends up winning this one, he will be the overall winner in LMD or in the Porsche Mission R, with having the tiebreaker of winning the second race. Johnson gets a little bit of a better run that time out of the hairpin. Tries to break the draft here all the way to the left.
And Smith has done a good job of applying the pressure here. Johnson's not made many mistakes, and for how his first race went, I think that Johnson's going to be pretty happy there, because he had a moment there, Johnson with Johansson and I think it was Thomas was the other driver involved. They all had a little bit of contact midway through that first race, and unfortunately enough, though, this second time around, much cleaner and a much better battle here between Johnson and Smith.
Yeah, as these two, I was kind of hoping this would happen. In practice, it did seem like Johnson was almost as quick as Aaron Smith, and there always is that saying, if it's one thing to catch the driver, it's another thing to pass him. And Johnson's putting absolute perfect defensive battle here.
And I wonder how much Johnson is holding up Smith. If Smith's able to get by, can he run away with it? He was showing some pace the first time around. He qualified. Smith did on the pole position in class. Broderick didn't even set a time in qualifying, so I'm going to have to see how things cycle out for these two, as Johnson continues to lead, but only half a second over Aaron Smith, as we've already got 75% of the way done through this second race.
As Isidro and Totten have caught up to this lead battle. Hopefully they don't alter it at all. As Isidro working his way around the two Porsche Mission R leaders. Now he's set himself clean. Now Totten's the next one to come up to him. And this as well, Totten was the first race winner, so with Isidro winning, he will be the overall winner, as them two will be tied just like Broderick and Aaron Smith here.
And there you see these two. Oh, that was a little dangerous there, as they had the LMDH plowing through of Aaron Totten. He just kind of barged his way in between those two, and just a very late launch. That was dangerous for Johnson. About to turn in for the corner, and unfortunately was able to see the 28. And here comes a huge run from Smith. Under braking, though, it's still going to be Broderick Johnson.
Yeah, good heads-up driving by Johnson there. Although I think Totten did it because he knows he doesn't have much time left to try to catch Isidro. He is a little bit quicker, though. He did catch Isidro there by about a second that last lap, so he is trying to reel him in, and he may just have enough time. So he's just trying to run as quickly as he possibly can.
Yeah, last lap's out there. Totten a 154.9 compared to a 156 flat for Isidro, so made up a second last time around, continuing to gain just ever so slightly. But will he have enough time? We'll have to wait and see.
As these two are running, see if did we catch the white flag at all?
We have not caught it yet. It should be coming out next time around.
So we got 2 to go here. So Totten may have just enough time to get there.
And these two going to have to keep an eye out behind them as well. Cameron Henn going to be working his way through any minute. Now you see him just in the back of your shot there, just trying to work his way through these guys. Much faster car there in the LMDH. Continues to just log laps here in the third position for Cameron Henn in that 5 car.
Yeah, the Cameron Henn unfortunately just doesn't have the exact pace. But we'll still finish third on the podium for the LMDH. As we got Smith here running just right up to the back. Let's see if he makes a move into the hairpin.
Once again, no. Unfortunately enough for these guys, I think that this is going to be when Henn gets by them. We might have to get them cycled out into a single file line here because the 5 car is coming through and he's coming with speed.
Yeah, I think he knows this is the battle for the win, so he's just gonna let these guys race it out. Try to find a better time to make a move on them.
Yeah, that's a smart heads-up play there from Hen. I thought he was going to have it timed out right to where he'd get him down the back straightaway. Unfortunately, did not. So these guys now through this long sweeping right-hander coming up. This is a very fun part of the circuit. As the white flag is out for Nick Isidro. He's got a 3.5-second lead, but as we saw in that first race, anything can happen through the final couple of corners, and nothing's over until that checkered flag flies and you're crossing the finish line. So Isidro still 3.5 seconds in front of Totten, but this battle for the lead over in the Porsche Mission Rs is really where things are heating up.
Yeah, these two are just bumper to bumper here on the white flag. Gonna have a Smith looks to the outside wherever he's gonna try to cross him over here. Fortunately, Johnson's got the slower LMDH right in front of him.
A little checkup there as Hen got by Johnson. Johnson could not turn in when he wanted to, but now that car of Hen is out of the way and well ahead, these guys can battle it out for this final time around the Circuit of the Americas.
Is through the S's, they go for the final time. Let's see if Smith has something for him once they get to the hairpin here.
Just parking it on the apex there was Johnson. Does he get the launch off the corner? Very wide exit there from Smith. Defensive line I would expect here from Johnson. Yes, he swings over to the left side. And then who's going to get the launch off here? Little check up there from Smith. They're alongside. Can't get the nose. And now he just tucks in the slipstream as they got another slower car up there in front of them. That's the 00 of Dylan Thomas, I believe. Yes, so Thomas to the back lets these guys by. But around the final corner, Nick Isidro got a great start off the line. And he's going to come across to win race number 2 and the event here from Circuit of the Americas, followed by Aaron Totten. But the lead for the other class, the Porsche Mission Rs, still ongoing. And it's still Broderick Johnson for now. But look how close these guys are. Only a handful of corners still to come. Who will take the checkered flag here in the Porsches?
As Broderick has done an amazing job defensively, see if he can hold him off for 2 more corners.
This is where we've seen drivers make mistakes before the corner exit. Not there for Smith that time around. But who's going to get the launch off here? It looks like Johnson's done enough. And he has. He takes the checkered flag from Circuit of the Americas by just half a second over Aaron Smith. A couple drivers left out on track. Adrian Johansson and Martin Mathis going to be the last 2 to finish here tonight. And unfortunately for them, it's only good enough for 3rd and 4th here in race number 2. Here's a look at the results tonight. Nick Isidro gets the win here in race number 2. Then Aaron Totten and Cameron Hen take 2nd and 3rd. Then for the Porsche Mission Rs, it was Broderick Johnson getting the win. By Aaron Smith, Adrian Johansson, Martin Mathis, and then Dylan Thomas wrapping up the field. So a fantastic bit of racing so far, and that was a little intense between the two of them as we get set for our first interview of the night with the winner of the event in the LMDH category. I believe we'll have Nick Isidro joining us here momentarily. Nick, it was a easy run in there. It felt like for the longest time. It looked like maybe at the midpoint though of that second race, Aaron had something for you.
Yeah, it was a bit close towards the middle, but I think he had an incident with a lapped car that set him back a bit.
Now, what was it like there, especially starting from the back that second race? What's it like trying to work your way through? Because these cars don't get the best launch of the LMDH, but you can really make up that speed of the Porsches as you got to turn one.
Yeah, turn one, it's a pretty long road to turn one at COTA, and it's fairly wide, so there's a lot of room to work with. So it's easier to get by them compared to last week at Montreal.
I'm used to running with you over in the TNT side of things, so it's great to see you out here and getting the victory on the in these cars. What's the difference, do you think, between these LMDHs, these hybrid vehicles, compared to the more traditional combustion engine cars on iRacing?
Well, it's the dealing with the hybrid deploy system generally at the start. It's different from, say, like the Formula One car that also has a hybrid system, because you can't use like the whole battery charge in one lap, so it's not as much worrying about deploy modes and stuff like that. That's just one more thing you have to worry about.
And two races in, and the championship leader so far. It's a long way to go, but what are you looking forward to coming up?
I haven't taken much of a look at the schedule yet.
It's going to be a fun one for sure, though. And congratulations on the win here tonight. Do you have anybody you want to give shout out to? Anybody you want to thank?
Not right now, no.
All right, man. Well, hey, congratulations on the win tonight, and best of luck the rest of the season.
All right, thanks.
That's the winner of tonight's event in the LMDH's Nick Isidro, and it looks like we've got the second place finisher on the night, Aaron Smith, ready to join us here, and he was part of that fantastic battle. Aaron, what a battle that you had there throughout the entire second race.
Yeah, that was great. Broderick found something on the exits there that I just couldn't get there at the end, but it was fun racing him there.
Yeah, it was definitely a tight one for sure. Do you think you had a couple of opportunities maybe that you missed out on getting around, or you just didn't have enough for Broderick there?
Yeah, I had quite a few opportunities. I got several crossovers on him there, but he guarded him pretty well. His defense was really good over the course of that race, so there wasn't much else I could have done. These cars rely so much on like getting that good exit speed, and it's not exactly fit for my driving style. But we were just one step too late there.
Yeah, two races into the season. What do you think of the competition here in the IMSA series?
Well, I know Broderick's going to be a problem here for the rest of the season. He's been pretty quick all season so far. He had some pretty good lap times going at Montreal, just couldn't get there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to racing him and the rest of the field these next few weeks, and we'll see what we can make of it.
Interlagos next time around. What are your thoughts there?
Oh, I like Interlagos. That should be fun.
It's going to be a very fun season to watch, and you've had some solid performances here and a great battle here tonight. But anybody you want to thank? Any shout outs for you as we wrap things up?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody at the EMSA for putting this show on, y'all for broadcasting, and all the folks for watching. Looking forward to getting back at it at Interlagos next week.
Hey, congratulations on the second place finish, and yep, we'll see you next week from Interlagos.
All right, thank you.
That's Aaron Smith, the second place finisher there from the Porsche Mission R's here tonight, and Cody was a fantastic bit of battling all around with some fantastic racing in both classes.
Yeah, absolutely. That Porsche Mission R battle that we saw the entire race, that's what we saw for the full season of the eWorld schedule, and then at the 3 street circuits we went to right before Christmas. So kind of reflected on what we saw for the good half of last of 2022, and hopefully we'll have a good couple more battles like that throughout the entire year. So we do this each and every Sunday.
And we've got some more programming coming up here this week on the Automotive Sports Network. We got the NASA Rallycross Series with round number 2 coming to you from Knock Hill. It's going to be on. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. Sorry, I'm looking a month ahead. No, we got Brands Hatch coming up at the end of this month. But also, don't forget next week, as we mentioned, Interlagos coming to you from the EMSA series, round number 3. And Josh Schmertz back on the call for that one. But and some fantastic racing here tonight, and looking forward to the rest of the season. I have to thank our sponsors one final time from the Service Experts HVAC. Get your worry-free comfort at one low monthly payment. For more information, visit them at serviceexperts.com. As well as NordVPN. They are the ultimate solution for online privacy and security. With NordVPN, you can surf the web freely and securely, knowing that your personal information and online activity are protected by military-grade encryption. With serving over 60 countries, NordVPN allows you to access any content you want from anywhere in the world. Plus, with the strict no-logs policy, you can be sure that your online activity will remain private. NordVPN is easy to use with a simple interface that makes it easy to connect to the VPN and switch between servers. With NordVPN, you can browse, stream, and download with complete peace of mind. For up to 63% off a 2-year plan, visit asntvusa.com and click on NordVPN. But that wraps things up here from Austin, Texas. For Bryan and Cody, I'm Chad, and we'll see you guys next time as we're going to have some fun here with some fantastic racing here from the EMSA series.